Today on Monkey Life, the team have their work cut out for the biggest house swap in the park's history.
Come on then, you boys! Let's go!
With the Bachelor boys moving to Bart's and Bart's moving to the Bachelors.
The boys being able to see Bart's group in here, they now know that they're in their space. So it might be quite noisy from here on in.
And Capuchin Erico tries to lick the Big Ice Lolly Challenge with brute force. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Everybody's well aware that they need to be looked after carefully. They should be okay.
The park provides a home for more than 260 primates from 24 different species. It's a huge day for the Chimp team. After weeks of meticulous planning, two of the park's chimpanzee groups are about to swap homes and enclosures. The Bachelor boys are moving to Bart's, and Bart's troop are doing the move in reverse. In all, 30 chimpanzees will be relocated.
16 in Bart's group, 14 in the boys' group. So we want it to run as smoothly as possibly and as safely as possibly. But obviously we have to make sure we're all communicating really well so that no one opens any slides that they're not supposed to and we don't end up with two groups of chimps together that they're not supposed to be. So it sounds quite simple, but we do have to be really on the ball and make sure everyone's aware of what's going on and aware of who's where. So once we have moved groups, we will go through checklists to make sure that everyone is absolutely where they're supposed to be. So, yeah. Should be a fun day.
The house swap is an attempt to bring some order and stability to the Bachelor group after months of tension and squabbles. The Pavilions, which houses both groups separately, has undergone a massive refurbishment to accommodate the move, linking the two areas so the animals don't have to be boxed up for it to happen. The team hope the extra space in Bart's bedrooms, coupled with a change of scene in a different outside enclosure, will have a long-term calming effect on the Bachelors. Although there's bound to be some initial excitement.
Something new, they'll be a bit scared as well, so they'll either all rush through into the new bit or we might get some hanging back because they're a bit worried, so we'll just have to see.
To minimise stress, the move will be staggered and the two groups won't come into contact or see much of each other. The operation is a logistical challenge with the care staff needing to ensure everything is in the right place at the right time for the plan to come together. Thankfully, the redesign of the pavilions makes the task that much easier. Interconnecting tunnels between the two enclosures and the main house have been built to enable the team to move the groups as a whole. This means none of the chimps will need to be anaesthetised and stress can be kept to an absolute minimum. Step one for Hannah and the team is to let the Bachelor boys out into their original enclosure. All 14 need to be outside and secure, so their carers can clean and prepare the space for the arrival of Bart's group. They're currently waiting indoors, probably wondering what on earth's going on.
Fingers crossed they'll all just move straight away and we won't have to wait hours for someone who's hanging back.
Thing is, if it takes hours, it takes hours.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got hours.
Exactly.
You know, it's the whole... And I'd rather that than it turn into World War III.
Yeah.
The Bachelor boys are outside enjoying breakfast, but they do appear interested in what's happening. Bart and his troop are waiting inside, with the team doing their best to keep the morning routine as normal as possible. Sean is about to give them their morning vitamins and medication. The maintenance team have been called in to assist with the practicalities of the move. Some of the slides and doors separating the groups have been welded shut as a safety precaution. Now they need to be freed up for the plan to be successfully executed.
Right.
As the morning unfolds, the team constantly check and double-check to make sure everyone involved knows what's going on.
You're definitely happy with everything?
Do you want to do one final check just to be absolutely sure? I'm happy, but yeah, let's just make sure everyone's happy.
The next piece of the jigsaw is ready to be put in place, moving Bart's group into what was the Bachelors' bedrooms and playroom.
Hiya, we're going to be ready to start moving Bart's in about 10 minutes.
As an added incentive, frozen mangoes, one of the Chimp's favourite fruits, are being scattered around. They're a good food option for Bart, who has type 1 diabetes. They'll help keep his blood glucose levels up, which can drop in stressful situations.
We've set everything up and I've been round and done a final check to make sure that everything that's locked should be locked is locked and everything that should be open is open. So we're all set up. What's going on? Hey? Exciting.
Time to let Bart's troop into their new home.
Right. Ready?
Ready.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Hannah keeps a running total as each chimp heads through the tunnel. Bart's sister Eddie isn't sure she wants to go any further.
Come on, Eddie! Come on, beautiful!
But with encouragement from the primate care team and Bart, who comes back to find her,
Good boy, Bart. Come on, Ed. Good girl. Super.
she heads in.
Good girl. Right, so let's do a checklist and make sure everyone's definitely through.
The first major part of the move has gone like clockwork. Next, it'll be the Bachelors' turn to venture into somewhere new, Bart's former outdoor enclosure. The team are hoping that part of the operation runs just as smoothly. It's one of the hottest days of the year, and the care team are keen to get the park's pair of cotton-top tamarins, Mo and Uncas, outside to enjoy the sunshine. Charlie has prepared some tasty treats for them.
In the wild, the primates, like the tamarins, will spend most of the day foraging, so it keeps them really active and busy most of the day. In captivity, we try and emulate this by making it quite difficult for them to find their own food.
Today's menu is a summer special.
We've put them out an ice lolly. It's got some squash in and some fruit as well frozen in there just to keep them a little bit cooler.
Charlie is also spreading a broom head with one of their favourite foods, fat, juicy waxworms. They're rapidly disappearing into the bristles, so Mo and Uncas will have to be quick and clever to find them. Once everything is in place, the tunnel connecting the house to the outdoor enclosure is opened.
Ready, you two? Come on then.
Uncas is first out,
Come on, Mo.
followed shortly after by partner Mo. Uncas finds the broom head, but the mealworms are hidden by the bristles and he gives up. He was rescued from the pet trade as an adult, so his age is uncertain, but he's definitely an old man now.
We've noticed that he's got a bit of a smaller appetite. He likes to eat kind of little bits and often rather than big meals, really. So we feed him throughout the day just to make sure that he's getting enough nutrition.
He usually has to wait for his greedy younger partner Mo to have her fill. Uncas dotes on her, and they're incredibly close. Active and agile Mo is quicker to find the treats and shows Uncas how it's done.
She came from a zoo, so I think she's quite used to having enrichment, so she figures things out quite quickly. Uncas, he has got a lot better with enrichment since he's been mixed with Mo.
Mo has no trouble picking out the tasty grubs from the broom head. Cotton tops, named for the mop of white hair on their heads, are critically endangered in the wild. But concerted conservation efforts have pushed their number up from 1,000 to 6,000 individuals. Now he knows how it's done, Uncas comes back for another go at the broomhead. Success! And despite his lack of teeth, he has no trouble tackling the mealworms. Time to try the lolly next.
It's quite good to also put novel enrichment items that they don't get very often in with them. We gave them quite a large, brightly coloured lollipop this morning. It kind of just encouraged them to kind of overcome that kind of initial fear about it.
Uncas examines the icy treat, but it's melting fast in the heat and he's unsure. Bouncy Mo doesn't help. The lolly has confounded the cotton tops, but it won't go to waste. The sticky sweetness will attract more insects into their enclosure. After all that exertion in the sunshine, time for a well-earned rest in the shade. The big chimp house swap is underway, and so far things are progressing according to plan. Bart's group have moved from their former bedrooms into their new indoor home, which was previously the Bachelors. The Bachelor boys are still in their original outside enclosure, waiting to be transferred next door to Bart's. It's a complicated manoeuvre, but the primate care team have it all worked out.
So we're just going to put lots of nice stuff outside, get them to move outside, and then we need to clean the inside. But as soon as we move them out over, then we can let Bart's outside over there. So, yeah.
The team get busy prepping Bart's empty enclosure, ready for the Bachelors. They're scattering a variety of different tempting foods and double-checking everything. No one wants any last-minute hiccups. While that's going on outside, inside Bart's group are exploring their new home, including some of the tunnels leading out to their new enclosure.
Right, boys.
The intruders have been spotted by some of the Bachelors, and they're not impressed.
All right, guys. Lots of things to nosy out, isn't there? This is the first, like, the boys being able to see Bart's group in here, they now know that they're in their space. So, it might be quite noisy from here on in.
Best to move on to the next stage as quickly as possible. With everything set, Sean requests confirmation he can open the slide.
Yep, okay.
To let the boys into the tunnel connecting the two enclosures. Hannah performs a head count.
13, 14, super.
No one holds back. The excited chimps move through the tunnel into the open space, hooting, hollering, climbing, and exploring. There's plenty to see, with new climbing frames and hoses to try out. There's even a water feature, which may be a first for some. There's plenty of food to go round too, which will help keep them occupied. Hannah is delighted with how it's gone so far.
That's as good as it could go. They're obviously like fear grinning and like, ah, but you know, they all went together, so brilliant, really good.
The Bachelor chimps have a lot to discover in their new outdoor play area. Only Jimmy and Paco have lived here before, when they were part of Paddy's group. Time will tell if the move to a new home with extra space will prove a permanent distraction for the Bachelors, or a temporary diversion. But this morning's reaction is a positive sign for the primate care team, who are now on the last leg of the big Chimp Changearound challenge. It's breakfast time for Erico's Capuchin group, and the 11-strong troop waiting in the caged area are getting impatient. Care team member Lydia is following the hot weather breakfast theme. She's in the enclosure putting out chunks of juicy mango she's frozen into ice lolly blocks. But these top the tamarind snack. They're treble the size.
We thought we'd make it a bit more exciting for them this morning, and I'll be trying to, break into it and get it over the next few hours, hopefully.
She's distributed the capuchin-sized lollies all over the enclosure, and there's plenty to go round. First in, and first to check them out, is group leader Erico. Female Phoenix comes next, followed by Sean, Erico's second-in-command.
Erico can be a bit of a loose cannon sometimes. He's quite an excitable chap, but generally he is quite good. But a lot of the individuals in here, being wild-caught older individuals, they seem to kind of do their own thing and kind of stay out of his way as he kind of comes barreling around. But on the most part, he's a pretty good dominant male.
Sean finds his own block and keeps it to himself. He doesn't waste any time trying to get through to the fruit. Low rankers, like Ringo, can only watch on until the high rankers have had their fill. The group recently lost dominant female Cara. Her place has been taken by Phoenix. Being new to the role, she's still cautious around the big boys. But Erico doesn't seem to mind her presence.
Phoenix used to be quite quiet, becoming that new dominant female. We're noticing she seems to be more, prominent when we're out feeding. She kind of pops up a lot more rather than hanging back. So it's been quite nice to watch her blossom to more confident Capuchin.
But not enough to tackle an icy breakfast by herself, it seems.
By putting it in the ice lolly means it does take them a lot longer to get the food, so it means they're foraging a bit more and taking a bit longer to break things up to get the food. Capuchins are very smart monkeys. They do a lot of tool use behaviours. So the ice lollies today, hopefully we'll see some just either picking up and bashing them or finding an object like a bit of wood or maybe a little rock that they'll be able to bash it with to try and chip away at it. Sometimes they might sink their teeth in to try and get into those bits that might be closer to the surface than the ice lolly, but you hopefully will see them trying to work out the best way and the best technique to get in and get the fruit out as fast as possible.
Patience not being Erico's forte, he's come up with his own technique. Brute force. Phoenix's friend Zoe has had a better result, digging in with her long fingers to extract a piece of fruit. With the high rankers losing interest and foraging elsewhere, the lower ranks move in. Marlowe is joined by best friend Abby. Wild-caught Ringo tucks in, while pet trade victim Caesar waits patiently. He won't touch the fruit until Ringo is finished. With dominant males Erico and Sean elsewhere, Phoenix and Zoe wonder if there's a way to lick this lolly challenge. But Phoenix isn't impressed. While some aren't prepared to give up yet, others opt to wait it out and let the sun do the work for them. It's the last leg of a long and complicated day for the primate care team. They've helped 30 chimpanzees, 16 in Bart's group and 14 in the Bachelors, move home. So far, it's been a safe, secure and stress-free operation for the chimps and the staff. It's taken some careful planning and the end is in sight.
We've created lots of work for ourselves, but it's all part of the fun of the job. So, and it's lovely actually seeing these guys having so much interest in the new surroundings. They've all been having a lovely mooch around, and there's been a lot of play we've seen with the boys since they've moved over here. So, so far so good.
Now it's time for Bart's group to be let outside into what was the Bachelors' enclosure. After all, the former residents are already settling into their new space.
It's actually way exceeded my expectations for today. I thought we'd move them and they'd be nervous and just quite frantically pacing back and forth all day while they explore the new space. But actually, they settled really, really quickly and they all just seem to be so happy, the happiest I've really known the boys be in a while now. These guys, actually, I think they've wanted in here for a while, to be honest. Some of the ones that used to live in this closure, like Paco and Jimmy, I think they look over at this space quite a lot and they do kind of know the area as well, so I think they've been very keen to get back over here. But the rest of the group are just having a wonderful day.
The team are hoping for the same result with Bart's troop as they're finally released into their new outdoor enclosure. It doesn't take long for them to take in the sights. A large patch of natural foliage with brambles and flowering gorse is something they didn't have in their old enclosure, and it's a great foraging opportunity.
They're all having a lovely time foraging and eating that. Bart is patrolling a lot, but I think part of that is that he's trying to make sure he knows where everyone is. He's being the dominant male, so he's patrolling around and just checking that everyone's where they should be.
Bart!
Bart has type 1 diabetes. His blood glucose level is tested daily, followed by an insulin injection. Today's activity means extra monitoring.
We normally give him his insulin at 12 o'clock, but just because of the move and everything, we're giving him a little bit extra and also testing him again, just his blood sugar levels to make sure that he's OK.
Bart usually responds straight away to the primate care team.
Bart! Come here, bud.
But not today.
Bart!
Bart!
He's too busy being a vigilant alpha male, keeping an eye on things in his new territory.
Come on, buddy, you don't want to be too late.
Eventually, he wanders over to see Kate.
Kate managed to get his insulin and she tested him as well, and he was above 7. That's where we want him to be, so we're not worried about him going low at the moment. As I say, we'll keep testing him. We'll do another couple of tests throughout the rest of the day and then make sure we'll probably give him a bit of extra food tonight before we leave him, just to make sure that he doesn't drop overnight.
There's just one more task left to perform, letting the Bachelor boys into their new bedrooms and playroom.
Looks like they're all ready to go in anyway.
Should we see what you think?
Come on then. Oh, leading the way, Jester. Slightly cautious. They didn't go racing in, but Jester led the way, and then as soon as they got in, there was a bit of displaying. But yeah, all good. Nothing that I'm worried about, and they all seem fairly settled. Good start, and hopefully it'll continue as it started. We shall see.
It's been a perfectly planned operation, with a pretty perfect outcome. Both groups seem to be settling into their new surroundings. But wherever they are, for some, like Paco, things never change. Next time on Monkey Life. Alison and Jeremy undertake one of the park's biggest primate rescues in recent years, from a zoo in mid-Wales.
I believe the local authority have refused them all forms of permissions and licensing, so they cannot keep a lot of the wild animals that they have on site.
Plus, greedy gibbon Kim is stomped by a sock.